Good morning, everybody, and welcome to session 2. I've got the checklist handy. I'm going to try to quickly talk through this in 3 minutes or less. I made a previous video and it was getting up to 7 minutes, so I scratched that. All right, so what we're going to do in this module is you're going to create the wiki foundation that will house all of the projects that you do for the rest of the semester. So you're going to basically take my wiki template or my wiki example, and you're going to make one that looks almost just like it. And you're going to customize yours just a little bit. Maybe change the color, maybe change the layout. There's different templates you can use. But I want to see all the same links with the same kind of material on those pages. And it's going to be an empty wiki. You don't have to fill in very much. I do ask that you fill in some stuff on the home page, but you need to check out those instructions and get more in depth. Right here is not the place for me to go in too much depth. I do also want you to think about wikis in education. Okay, so you make a wiki in this class. That's great. You can use it apparently in higher ed, which is where you're at right now. But how can you use it in your future situation? So I encourage you to check out the wikis in education section. You can browse examples of educational wikis in the world, and you can watch Vicki Davis's video where she talks about how she uses them in her Georgia classroom. We have several readings that you do in this class. You do some readings that are tied to the discussion boards inside of CourseDen. But then there's also 3 readings that they're tied to the wiki itself. When you make the wiki, you make something called your readings page. And so and by making that page, it will have questions on it that you're going to answer about 3 specific readings. The first reading comes in this session. It's the David and Cuban reading. It's a really short, great reading that gives you a good foundation for understanding technology in classrooms. And so I want you to answer a few questions about that reading on your readings page of your wiki. So, what that tells you, probably, in order to be less confused, you probably want to make your wiki first before you even bother with the high-tech reading, okay? Make your wiki first, then worry about your reading of the high-tech classrooms thing. But don't wait till the last minute. Try to get your wiki foundation done in week 1, and then you'll be set up pretty well for the rest of the module, I think. Session 2 has a discussion that also has another sort of reading attached to it. Like I said earlier, you have some readings that you talk about on your wiki, and I think Session 2 discussion actually sort of relates to, anyway, let me just say, Session 2 discussion, you read an actual New York Times article about a North Carolina school district and what they're doing with technology. I want you to read that, read the prompt. There's a prompt that says, read this article, then answer these questions. You're going to write an initial post where you respond to those questions about that New York Times article, and then you want to go in and respond to a couple of your classmates. I don't expect you to read every discussion post in the discussions, but I want you to take it seriously enough to where you do skim through and look at what a few people are saying about this topic, okay? And then you want to respond to at least 2. We are going to encounter some new standards in this module, the National Educational Technology Standards for teachers and the ones for students. And then I want you to take the quiz over the NET standards. But it's not really a quiz, it's really just an acknowledgement that you're aware of these standards. These are standards that, as future educators in school settings, you're expected to be aware of. You're expected to sort of aspire to them. They're a little bit pie in the sky. They're a little bit unrealistic, to be quite honest. But it's always good to set goals way above where we even think we might go. It's good to dream a little bit. And so they're almost like dreamy standards. But, you couldn't look at them and set concrete goals for yourself that are sort of driven by them. So I encourage you not to dismiss them, but to become familiar with them, aware of them. These are images, these are pictures of what teachers and students should be able to do with technology in the school setting. And I do want you to take them seriously, skim through them, and then take your little acknowledgement quiz. This week's Voices from the Field features a special education teacher from Cobb County. I encourage you to listen to the podcast. I don't remember if it's a movie where he's filmed or if it's just done as an audio, but check that out. That's there for your enrichment. I hope that you will avail yourself of that. And then in terms of webcam getting, if you don't have a way to record audio in the syllabus I talk about the webcam issue. I want you to go reread the syllabus if you haven't figured out your webcam situation. Go revisit Module 1. There's a page about getting a webcam there too. If you haven't settled that, take care of that, okay? You don't necessarily have to have a webcam. If you have a smartphone, I would say you don't need a webcam. A smartphone with, that can take video, or that's Android or Apple, because they can record audio, and honestly, you don't have to have video in this class. All right, so that's session 2. Please let me know how I can be of help. Don't be a stranger, and I will see you online.